the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're joined by some special guests now to tell us a little more about them. First, Brad Bowling. Next to her, a new face, Holly Stoner from the Speedway. Welcome to both of you.
All right, Woody.
Brad, I guess we'll start with you since the event you're going to be telling us about comes up first, the Spring Auto Fair. Getting bigger and better every year, and this year no exception.
Right, it is. It's always, you can count on it growing every year, being bigger and better every year. This year won't be any different in some respects. We'll have around 5,000 collector car vendor spaces in the swap meet. We'll have probably anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 car corral spaces. These will be collector cars for sale, where spectators can come in and buy directly from the individual that owns them. We'll have other ways to buy cars. Of course, we have the cruise auction that'll take place on Saturday and Sunday, and there'll be several hundred desirable vehicles there as well. We've got our AutoFair Food Lion AutoFair Pavilion, which is always set up on pit road in a big white tent. I'm sure you've seen that many times down there. That'll have our special displays. Great Cars of Extinction is one of our themes this year.
Great Cars of Extinction.
Great Cars of Extinction. Just like, sort of like celebrating the dinosaurs, except except on wheels. We'll have several cars that are thought of these days as classics, but don't have a name out there for sale anymore these days. Studebaker, Auburn Cord Duesenberg, Stutz. We've got a Stutz Blackhawk Speedster coming, which is probably the first one anybody around here has ever seen. I mean, it's a very rare car. We'll have the history of the American truck as a theme, and we'll have a lot of nice examples there going back to the 1930s all the way up to modern times, with a couple of modified modern trucks as well. Yeah,
there's always some looks at the future at the Auto Fair as well.
That's true. It looks in both directions, really. What has taken place and what's coming up. On Sunday, speaking of trucks, there'll be a free mini truck show out in front of the Speedway for people to come by and see if they like the taste of a car show and want to come in and pay their $7 and come see the rest of the event. It really is huge, as you know. You've been there many times, and a lot of people from this area know how big it is.
And you really can't get through it all in one day.
You can't get through it all in one day, and I'm finding from working the events that you can't get through it in 4 days either. I mean, I mean, there's something to see for everybody. If you're not into cars, but you're into maybe nostalgia or a simpler time in life, well, you should come out and see it as well, because you'll be immersed in that those earlier times.
Now, Brad, for the folks who are getting their schedules planned out for the weekend, those folks watching this on Wednesday night have an opportunity for an event on Thursday, and then run through the rest of the schedule for us, if you would.
Okay. Most everything runs through all 4 days in terms of the displays and the hours, which are 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Thursday through Saturday, and then Sundays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. But on Thursday, we do have a couple of special things. We've got from noon until 2 o'clock, we've got Bobby Labonte and Joe Gibbs, who are both featured on the Goodies Pole Night tickets.
There you go.
You might be able to see here. They will be.
And Bobby's had quite a string of success at Charlotte.
Him and his brother, and so we're really happy to have him and his team owner Joe Gibbs come in to sign autographs and meet fans. That'll be for 2 hours on Thursday. Also we'll have tickets available there, the Pole Night commemorative tickets to sell and get signed. Let's see. We'll also have on Friday and Saturday nights we'll have Legends Racing.
Oh yeah.
And of course that's really big around here, and you'll see a lot of Concord, Kannapolis, Charlotte drivers out there just having a really good time. A lot of people you know, a lot of people you've heard of, people you may hear of in the future driving a slightly bigger race car at Charlotte Motor Speedway, perhaps.
Now, for folks who may have been interested in Legends Racing before, maybe want to try out one of the cars, will there be opportunities there for them to find out a little more about racing, or is it just going to be watch the race and that's it?
Right. Thursday, we're going to do something unusual, and we're going to offer to the public for a fee, of course. the chance to get behind the wheel of a Legends car on our 5th mile track and see what that feels like. These are very popular race cars because of their low price. You can get into one and be racing for about $12,000. And of course, you've been out there for our summer shootout series from June through August, and every Tuesday night we put those things to the test and prove that it's about the cheapest form of racing you can get into, short of a pair of tennis shoes and the Boston Marathon. And so Thursday we will have it set up so the public can come out and pay a fee and drive these cars and enjoy them themselves.
Okay. Now let's turn to Holly here and give Brad a chance to catch his breath a little bit. Big event coming up out at the Speedway, first time ever, the Supercross event. Many fans may have been familiar with it running out at Memorial Stadium in Charlotte, but this is the first time at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tell us a little about how all this came together and what fans can look for.
Okay, well, as you mentioned, Woody, this is the first time at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Pace Supersports, who's a co-promoter of the event, looked at Charlotte Motor Speedway because we could offer increased seating, and of course it's just bigger, and decided to change venues, and we're real excited to be able to host the Charlotte Supercross Classic. Racing will start Saturday night, April 20th, around 7:30, and the biggest feature of this event, it's being pegged as the biggest, longest, most difficult course in Supercross history. So everybody can come out and witness that for the first time. They're comparing, the builders of the course are comparing this course to a motocross course, which is the outdoors, but it's in an indoor arena. So we're real excited about that.
Now, I was at the press conference when this was announced, and one of the things that was fascinating about that is what an endeavor it's going to be for these people to build this track in just a short amount of time. Tell us a little about what kind of an undertaking this is going to be.
Well, it's going to take in excess of 500 man-hours to put this course together. Something like 900 truckloads of dirt, 1,000 bales of hay, 150 truckloads of sand, and all that is going to be dumped on Charlotte Motor Speedway. But we do want to reassure racing fans that nothing is going to touch the surface of the Speedway, that they're going to put down protective industrial plastic to protect the racing surface. But it is going to stretch from the 4th turn all the way down to the entrance to the road course near the 1st turn. And it'll cover the whole football field area and pit road. And the neat thing about Supercross is that the action will be right there in front of the spectators. And actually the start-finish gate, the riders will head directly toward the grandstand, so they'll be coming right at the spectators. And so they're right there, you know, as opposed to the races where the cars do go around the backside. And,
and sometimes they're as much as a mile away at some of the bigger tracks.
Exactly. Yes.
Now, give us an idea of what kind of seating this is going to be. It's obviously not going to be all the way around the track. It's pretty much going to be right there on the front stretch, right?
Right. It will be just the front stretch, and I believe they're going to open up a few sections that will be toward the, you know, the sides, but most will be right in the front stretch by the start-finish line, and tickets will be it's all reserved seating, $15 and $20.
Right, that's what I was going to say. It's obviously a little bit different seating arrangement.
The higher up you go, the more expensive the tickets. But from what I understand, ticket sales are going real well, so people ought to hurry up and reserve their tickets.
Right, and now this is going to involve as well some of the top names in Supercross racing, right?
Right. Damon Bradshaw actually is a Charlotte native who now lives in Mooresville, and he will be racing at the Charlotte Supercross Classic. And Jeremy McGrath, who is just amazing, has won 11 straight. All the events so far on the Supercross circuit this year, he's won. So
no, that's quite a record.
We're anxious to see him perform too.
Brad, let's turn back to you. We've got just about 3 or 4 minutes left in this segment. Recap some of the events that are going to be coming up Thursday for folks who are watching this on Wednesday night, and then take us through some of the specialty cars that we can look for, because that's always a highlight.
Oh yeah, that's true. We've got, as far as the specialty cars go, Woody, we've got one vehicle that is going to stand out in everybody's mind when they see it for the first time. It's the 20th Century Unlimited. It's a custom Cadillac, for want of a better description, but it has 2 Cadillac 500 cubic inch motors in it and a body made entirely of mahogany strips.
Come on now.
It looks like a big old cedar chest with wheels. So, but it's beautiful. A guy out in Arizona built it. He's retired. He had a lot of free time on his hands, and
clearly.
Yeah, and he I guess was dared to do this by some buddies of his, and he spent a couple of years doing it, and you got to come out and see that thing. A man in Rock Hill, South Carolina is debuting a car that he's going to put into a limited production called the Aquila, which is an aluminum-bodied roadster built around a modern 265 cubic inch Chevrolet engine and 6-speed manual transmission.
Right, that's the one that looks similar to an old-style Jaguar, sort of like that?
It is. The man, Jim Harrell, grew up excited about road racing in the 50s and always wanted a Jaguar D-type, you know, racer, whatever was out there at the time. And so he's incorporated a lot of those themes into this car, but it looks like no other vehicle, but it is in that vein. It's in the roadster racing vein.
Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left in the segment, Brad. Recap for the fans who may have just joined us, the times and dates that they need to be aware of.
Okay, AutoFair runs from April 11 through 14, which is Thursday through Sunday. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, running till 6 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings, and until 4 p.m. on Sunday, which is the last day. We'll have the Bobby Labonte and Joe Gibbs autograph session at the manufacturer's Midway, which race fans know as the Winston Cup Garage, from noon until 2 on Thursday. Really ought to come out and get some tickets signed, some commemorative pole night tickets signed. And then after that, we've got the AE Clevite Engine Builders Contest, wherein we're going to have a few NASCAR team engine builders come in and try to break a record for assembling a Ford small block in record time. Yeah, and that'll take place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So plenty to come out and see, and we got lots of room for everybody, so hope to see you out there.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about quickly at the end here is the Legends racing that you mentioned earlier. Your AutoFair ticket also gets you into Legends racing, is that right?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, out at the Speedway Thursday through Sunday for AutoFair, and then April the 20th, the big Supercross event coming up, the biggest track on the Supercross circuit. It's all coming up at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You can give them a call to find out more information about the ticket prices and the availability of some of those seats, especially for the Supercross event. That's all the time we've got on this edition of Cabarrus This Week. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday and Friday at 7:30.